But that's it today. He'll probably do some he's going to do some back down work.
Going.
But I'm going. All right, let's chill. Right. Okay. Today, I'm going to show you how Vasa, medium to large Vasa, not quite big yet, but he's getting there. He's going to prepare for a 440 kilogram squat. And if he doesn't squat 440 kilograms, he's off the team. That's the rules, but just not today. That's what he's prepping for. What's your best squat in comp?
425.
425 kilograms. Get this, that was his second attempt, and it was like debatable, was there more in the tank? And we kind of came to the conclusion, there might be, but is that gonna negatively impact his bench press and his deadlift? So we chose to not attempt 440, but he's had a bone to pick with that number specifically for a long time. Now we're 22 weeks out from his competition, and we're gonna show you, it's actually his second session back with knee wraps. And what we're gonna do is teach you the exact process that we go through to condition a body to handle and learn the skill of knee wrapped squats. It's not just as simple as wrapping your knees and you can automatically squat more. There's a big skill component to it, as well as a conditioning component to wearing knee wraps. So if you're at home and you've wondered, do I wear knee wraps or not? Well, this one is for you. This is where you're gonna learn the art of introducing knee wraps to your squat session. So Vasa's gonna be squatting today. On the agenda is 300 kilograms for 2 sets of 5. I'm gonna be benching. My goal today is 170 kilograms. I'm looking for around 8 reps. And I've had a whole month off competition style benching to do my bodybuilder style and also give my pec a little bit of time to recover. But what we also have is big Reese, little Reese, is doing his rehab session as well. He decided to be an arm wrestler, tore his bicep 14 weeks ago, and now he's gonna be attempting 180 kilogram bench press 14 weeks later, and if he can't do that,
Off the team.
He's off the team. That's the rules. I didn't make it. It's just what it is. So let's get stuck into the session, and I'll see you guys during the session. All right, bench press. 3 tips for the bench press. If you just do these 3 things, you're gonna bench press a lot more, and it goes like this. Foot position first. So I'm gonna do the next 3 sets. I'm gonna talk about 1 step each, right? So the foot position. For me, what I want with my feet is behind my hips, on the balls of the feet, and push down. So it's like a lot happening with that 1 cue, but that's it, feet, right? So the way that I do that is I slide back so that I can get my feet back far enough, right? If I'm just laying here and I bring my feet back, I can't get them as far back. So that's why I bring my body back so that I can wedge my feet slightly further back. The balls of my feet are pushing the heels downwards, and I maintain that downwards pressure. I'm looking for about a 45-degree angle on the sole of my foot, right? And I want to maintain that downwards pressure. So that's what initiates my arch, right? So I'm not relaxed here on the feet. I'm not treading through the balls of my feet. I'm pushing my heels down. And that's cue number 1. Just focus on the feet. Okay, so that's tip number 1. On the next set, I'm gonna go through the second most important tip. Tip number 2 is shoulder position. So for grip, I'm gonna grab the bar with my powerlifter grip, which is index finger on the outer ring of a powerlifting bar, but that's not for everybody. So you might be a little bit closer, you might find that uncomfortable, but the shoulder position remains the same. That's why I'm not going to talk about grip. So the shoulder position for a powerlifting style bench press is to pull your shoulder blades back and down and keep them there the entire press. A way of thinking about that is the bottom position of a lat pull down. So if you can imagine a lat pull down starting from a stretch position and pulling the handles to your chest, squeezing your shoulder blades back and down. That position is where I'm recommending you hold the bench press from start to finish, and I'm gonna show you that in action now, paired with tip number 1, which was the foot position. So we get our feet set, and then we get our shoulder blades back and down, and we maintain those positions. We don't move, we maintain that tension from start to finish. So first I set my feet, balls of the feet pushing the heels down. So the sole of my foot is 45 degrees. Now, shoulder blades back and down, and I'm gonna maintain that position from start to finish. Next set is going to be my top set, and I'll introduce you the third one, which is a very, very, very easy one. I may as well tell it to you right now. Hold your breath from start to finish. So feet back and heels down, that's your legs. Shoulders back and down is upper body, but what joins that is your core. And if you're breathing and this isn't braced well, then you've lost that connection. So strong upper body, strong lower body, they need to push together like this. And if that's loose, you lose, that's energy leakage. So that needs to be tight. So if you're holding your breath, that's how it pairs all three of those tips together. So 3 tips for that bench press. If you do that, you're gonna bench press a lot more than what your girlfriend does, which is really nice.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You will feel like a big man. Now, the highlight of the show, you better make it a highlight today, Vasa. He's going to be squatting. This is his warm-up sets. He started with an empty barbell. This is 80 kilograms, and we're going to work up to 300 kilograms. If you notice, he's got knee sleeves on now, but I would say he'll do a few more warm-up sets with just knee sleeves. By the time he gets to about 180 kilograms, so it's just about just over 50% of your working weight, I want to start introducing light knee wraps. Some people introduce their knee wraps a little bit later when they feel like they need it. That's right, he doesn't need it at 180 kilograms. He can do it very, very easily. It's not about needing it, it's about familiarizing yourself with the feeling of knee wraps, because it's a slightly different technique to what he'll be using with the knee sleeves. For the knee wraps to work, you have to push into the knee wraps. So if all he does is sleeves up until his top set, which he's strong enough to do, the knee wraps are just going to be uncomfortable and strange, and it's not going to teach him the pattern that's needed on his top sets. So another warm-up set, and then after that we'll start wrapping his knees gently. Who do you think I am? All right, so this is going to be my top set. All I want to do is one top set just to feel it. This is my reintroduction back into powerlifting style bench press, even though I did it last week with 160 for 11. 170 kilograms.
If you don't get it, are you on the team still?
I don't think I can be.
Team disbanded.
Yeah. Once again, I didn't make the rules.
No,
but that's what they are. We must abide by them. So I'm going to get Vasa to unrack me.
Disadvantage of it.
If I don't get it, I'll be blaming it on the unrack.
If you don't get it, Vasa's off the team.
Vasa's off the team. Coming in, Vas.
Go up. Let's go. Come on, Captain. 5. Nice.
Good one. Good one. Pretty happy with that. Actually good unrack as well. You know, I know he knows how to do it, of course he does, but usually I get people to warm up the unrack just to re-familiarize themselves with, you know, the exact position that I'm going to be doing. So he came when it was needed. 1 set of 8, that's, I don't know if I said that was the goal, but I kind of had a feeling that that's where I'd be at. And 170 for 8 is a pretty good position. I believe I'm at about 210 kilograms for 1, and that kind of adds up for me. I couldn't tell you what percentage that is, but I just know from my history, if I want 210, I need to be getting, you know, 170 for 8, 180 for 6, 200 for 2, like those are all the numbers, and then I'll be going 210. So at the end of this phase, which is going to be in 3 more weeks from now, I'll be going for a 210 for 1. Anyhow, that's my top set, and then I'm going to move on to a whole bunch of dumbbells. But for now, I'm going to show you how I wrap Vasa's knees for his first set. So it's going to be 180 kilograms, and we start gentle, and I'm going to give you a step-by-step tour to how we do that. All right, so here's a few hacks. I like to have these pre-rolled, but not pre-tensioned. A lot of people like them pre-tensioned, but I don't. I like to apply the tension manually with the exact amount of tension that I need. So people do it beforehand to help them get it tighter. I don't feel that it does. Now, check this for a hack. Water on your hands, right? And even here, like this is the best grip. Some people use chalk. I think that that's the best way to get a hold of it. So check this, right? So that's the center of the wrap. I'm gonna put that center of the wrap exactly at the base of his kneecap or his patella, right? So that point is exactly there, right? Now I get the lifter to hold tight so I get the first revolution, and now we're on. If you go too low here, you end up wrapping over his calf, and it can change the way that it moves, and you can tear your calf this way. Some people have experienced that. Now what I do is I'm gonna do 4 revolutions up. 4 revolutions up, that's decent coverage, and that's the max thickness that I'll need for him. In fact, that's quite a comfortable thickness. I'd even go a little bit lower as it gets tighter and tighter, so it's more condensed exactly over the knee joint. But for now, 4 revs up, X across the knee, so his kneecap is right in the middle there. And then I'm just gonna tie off here. So that's a total of 6 revolutions. That's quite comfortable. And let's do that again in real time. So the center of the wrap goes exactly at the base of his patella. Get him to hold on to it. First revolution locks it off. 4 revolutions up. X across the patella. And then tie off.
Does that feel better? Amazing.
So this should be, Jesus. This should be pretty comfortable for Vasa. That's not tight. But that's the goal. If you're learning how to wrap your knees, and this is exactly what I did when I first started, was I thought the tighter the better, which is what the best competition. I've got my cameraman is nodding while we're saying this. Of course, I'm talking about knee wraps. Yes, it is better when it's tighter. However, you need to condition yourself to be able to handle that. No, just don't rush 2 reps, bang, bang. 1 rep, reset. Wait, big breath. Good. Good. All right, so that's a very light, comfortable, easy wrap. And then every set that he goes up, so that was 180, we'll probably go up 50 kilogram jumps. I will wrap it an extra revolution tighter. So that was 6 revolutions. The next one will be 7 revolutions, and then I get slightly tighter every single set. And then it'll be the max tension on his top set, which is still not as tight as what we're gonna get to on his competition day. So because he hasn't used knee wraps in some time, the skin on his knees will feel very uncomfortable if I just wrap it as hard as I can. And what happens is if you go too tight, you kind of come in and all you're thinking about is the pain around your knees, and you can't really think about what you really need to do for the squat. So always, don't ever let the comfort or the discomfort interfere with your lifting technique. All right, next set, I'm gonna go do some dumbbells, and then Reese is gonna go and do a set of bench press for his rehabilitation. All right, so we've got 140 kilograms on the bar for Reese. He's doing a slightly different technique to me. He's not doing the powerlifting style. He's doing the style that I did last week, which was bodybuilding style. His goal is rehabilitation, so he wants to use his muscles to lift the weight. When I do a powerlifting technique, I'm trying to maximize my levers, so it's a very different mechanism. So have a look at his technique. It's slightly different to what I'm teaching you now. Back to bodybuilding, this is what I would use if I was to focus on building pec muscles. So he's got his feet flat. His grip is not the maximum legal width grip. So he's got pinky on the line. Okay. He's still pulling his shoulder blades back and down. How does that feel?
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Do you want to tell us, how's it feeling? So 14 weeks in, is that right? 14 weeks post-surgery.
14 and a half post-surgery. The first 12 weeks was slow, dealing with nerve pain, other things like that, but now it's
He tore his bicep, just so that you know. He tore his bicep on that side.
off the bone. So I had to get surgery, reattached, but it's starting to feel good, starting to feel less painful, and start pushing a little bit.
All right, so how did that feel? Just any pain?
No, none.
Zero pain?
A little bit of
nerve discomfort?
No, it's just, I don't have much feeling.
Yeah.
A little numb. So getting the control is difficult, but it's starting to feel better.
Next set 160, and that'll be his last warm-up, and then we'll see if he can get 180 for 1 rep, right?
I have to, otherwise.
Off the team. control, control, speed. Weight, control, speed. Good. Good. Hey?
What are you thinking?
Not much.
Oh,
Not much.
it's not a good sign.
Not thinking much. You know, this is the funny thing about when your goal is to squat 300 kilograms for 5. This is 230. So he's asking me how I feel about it. It's like, we don't know yet. We'll get more of an understanding on his next warm-up set. So for this one, I didn't wrap it very tight. And he's not really switched on that much. So I don't expect it to be moving like lightning. But the next one, I do want it to move better than that. So that's when I'm gonna have an opinion on what it looks like. So next set, so that was 230. Next one we go 270, and then that's the last warm up. Good.
Thank you, sir.
Good. You know what to do. Yeah, nice. Yeah, bro. Very easy. Very easy. Yeah, man. I think that looked like you had 200 in the tank. What do you reckon?
So,
Yeah.
but that's the goal, right? Leave more in the tank,
Yeah.
take more next week.
So what's next? You go 190 next week, then 200 type of thing?
I think so, 10 until I get to 200,
Yeah.
and then I'll probably start following a plan.
Yeah. Any pain?
Just a little bit of weakness.
All right, so that's a bit of a lesson right now while he's rehabbing. It's pretty hard to follow a plan. I'll tell you now, as like Reese is an elite lifter, he's bench pressed 260 kilograms before. So he's at the position where he can kind of be intuitive with his training. So there's a huge discussion around whether you should program or not, whether you can train intuitively or not. You can train intuitively, but the way that you build that intuition is through years and years of experience at a very high level. If you're a beginner, using intuition is maybe not the nicest idea.
You don't just skip that part.
Right, you've got to kind of follow, like this is where following some type of a plan until you learn what plan it was that worked in the first place type of thing. So right now there's no program.
Not really, there's a loose plan. I kind of set myself weekly challenges just to get myself closer back to where I want to be. And then once I get to a point where I feel like I'm healthy enough to consistently follow a plan and push harder each week, then I'll do that. But right now I'm just getting, some weeks are really quick to progress.
Yeah.
Some weeks I can barely train. Well, it was like that up until 2 weeks ago. But now I've got consistency, so you can see the loads coming back, baby.
Yeah, nice.
Big
So
loads.
after big loads, that's always the goal.
Yeah.
What's next? Are you going to do back down work or walk
I'm gonna
away?
do one back down set today. I'll do all my accessory work after, dumbbell pressing, back work, triceps, etc. But I'll do one back down set, maybe 140 kilos for an AMRAP.
Yeah.
See where I'm at, give a bit of a challenge, aim for 12 to 15 reps.
Good one. This is my accessory, so it's one top set on the bench press. I'm still not going to go crazy. I think 65 kilograms for today is a decent number. I'm going to do 2 sets of this. I should be able to do around 10 reps. Let's see how it goes. The hardest part is getting it off the rack. Well, actually, re-racking will be. All right, check this out for a tip for your dumbbell presses. Have it high up on the thigh when you want to do a flat bench press. So when it's on an incline, it's a different rule, but for flat, have it high up on your thigh so you can easily hand it to yourself. You know, that's the psychology of it. I told myself 10 reps, and for some reason it was hard on the exact 10th rep, and it looked like I probably wouldn't have been able to do 11. I don't know if that's a psychological thing or it was just right on the money. 10 reps is all I had. Anyway, one more set. Yeah, so you know, good is subjective because this is pretty firm. I'd say this is high quality, but there's a lot thicker than this as well, which I find too thick. But thinner than this, a lot of people say the thinner ones, you can get more revolutions. But for me, those thinner ones, I feel it's very too thin. So this is a Lily Bridge wrap from Pioneer. These are my favorite, but a lot of brands do fantastic wraps. But these are definitely a heavy duty wrap. As you can see, I am making this real tight. That's 8 revolutions. In comp, he gets to 9, so he goes even tighter than this in comp. But that's the tightest knee wrap he's felt, I know, for a long time. You know, Vasa's a tough guy. He doesn't say anything, he knows what it's about. But I can tell you now, it's probably a little bit uncomfortable. So, he's got earphones in, he can't hear me. But what I'm doing now is I'm just gonna line him up to make sure it's centered on his back. And then once he's centered on his back, I'm gonna run out and, well actually maybe, can you unrack from there and still record? Good one. You know, you never know. So maybe I'll run around, yeah? I don't think Vasa needs a spot for this, but you never know. He's a strong boy. All right, let's go, Vasa. Come on. Yep. Come on. Yes. Up. Come on, Vasa. Let's go. Up. One more. Up. Yes. Walk in. Walk in. Oh. Good, good. Nice. You're good?
Sorry.
You're good?
Yeah, man.
Okay, that was...
Sorry, I couldn't hear anything.
That was seemingly a max effort set, which tells me that that's it today. He'll probably do some back... No, he's going to do some back down work.
Going.
But I'm...
Going.
All right, let's chill. Right. Okay.
Take a knee.
Okay, this is live. He's just done... Imagine that. He's just done a set of 5 and we're getting him to lay down. So I want you guys to see the effort that he's putting in. So I'll tell you now, when I had a look at that first rep, that's not how it was meant to go today. That first rep should have really popped. And it's not meant to be max effort, but that was absolutely max effort. We were supposed to do 2 sets of 5, but we're not going to. So 1 set of 5, that's his top set. I'm going to give him about 15 minutes to chill out down here. That's totally fine. And then we're going to do some accessory exercises, which are going to be a lot more low impact. But for now, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And I reckon you'll see him next week and he'll probably be doing 3 10 for 5 a lot easier than that. That's just how it goes. Sometimes he's performing at a higher level. Sometimes fatigue gets the better of him. Humans don't progress linearly. But it's okay, he got 5 out, and that was mental strength that got it up. Physically, I think he just knows, like, I can manhandle 5 reps, but that's not how 5 reps should be moving for someone whose goal is to squat 440 kilograms in 22 weeks or so. Sorry. But anyway, no need to apologize, that's how it goes. I think that was a good set and a good demonstration of work ethic from the big guy. Accessory exercises up next. Ten, 11. Nice. Nice, man. Good job, bro.
You on heels off?
Yeah. So you've seen me do this before. This is a quad dominant leg press, right? And I like to do high reps on this. So I've got Vasa doing sets of 20. This is his second set, and he's going to do one more after this, which he's not very happy about. But anyway, so check this. What makes it quad dominant? He's pushing through the balls of his feet, and he's allowing his heels to lift off. That's totally fine. What we're after is maximal knee bend. His hamstring presses against his calf. The regular leg press, there's not as much knee bend, so it's more hip dominant. But why do I do quad dominant? Because we just did a ton of hip dominant squats, which is low bar with knee wraps. So this is where this exercise complements the muscle groups that he's neglected in the main movement. So that's very hip dominant, the squat that he did. Now this is quad dominant, 3 sets of 20, and that's the end of his session. So he's just got one more set. High five. See that? I said high five and he gave me a fist bump. Ha 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 ha. Silly boy. Anyway, so that's our session. You've seen one top set and one back down set, but we've all done, well, he's about to do his third. Actually, I did 2 back down sets, Reese did 1 back down set, and I hope you enjoyed our session. And you're going to see more of us next week. Maybe you can put in the comments anything you'd like to see, anything you'd like to learn about, and I will do my best to bring it for you guys. Thanks for joining. See you guys.
Like this video.
Like this video.
Like me.